Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Boston. I will be your host for the evening. After having a bit of a lengthy discussion today, I decided to come up with a segment called Manga Studio, How Do I Even? Because although it kind of came, I guess, more so natural to me, I realized that not so much to other people. So for those of you who are not comfortable with clicking and figuring things out, I've done lots of clicking for you, and I'm going to share some stuff. Today we'll be focusing on customizing your tools because people like Mega Studio is insane. Like I like Psy, I do, but Mega Studio is like Psy on some kind of performance job. But yeah, so we're just gonna start right now. I'm going to start off with a 2000 by 2000 canvas, resolution 600, just because I'm a rather have too much than too little type person, and I don't like seeing pixels. So hit OK there, and voila, this thing here, it's a square. All right, so we're just gonna test out some stuff. Okay, so most important part is, let me move this screen a little bit so you guys can see. There we go. All right, so one of the most important parts that you should know or start getting familiar with is how to make your own tool. I make lots of tools. I love creating brushes. It is fun. It is I should be working, but I'm going to be productive distraction. So we're going to go over here. Your layout might be different, but just look for your subtool brush right here. Whee! And a little menu thing right there. And just going to go to Create Custom Subtool and click. Alright, from here, you can just name your brush. Name, output process, input process, get to all that stuff in a second. My whatever is, I'm just going to name this YouTube brush because I'm lazy and I suck with names. Okay, because make sure it's on brush. If you want to use a brush or a pen or eraser or figure. Figure, by the way, is Manga Studio's code word for a circle or a circular shape, circle, oval, whatever. It makes a circle. Continuous curve is just how do you want the curve to stop? Do you want it not to stop? Obviously. Unit curve, not familiar with that one, so skipping. Lasso, we all know what lasso tools are. They are an awesome basic feature. Fill, bucket. Dot pen, no clue. I'm going to assume probably a pixel brush. But we're going to leave it on brush. And tool icon is just the tool icon. What do you want it to look like? Do you want it to be a flower? Do you want it to be a little decoration thingy? I had mine at Watercolor, and I'm just going to leave it there for right now. All right, so we're going to hit, oh, and if you want to make it something special, you can change the background of the icon. So I'm going to change this one to green because green is an awesome color, and I love it. A little bit of yellow. There we go. Whee. So that's going to be, I'm going to hit OK. And you see over here, the little background of it is green. See? Okay, so from here, a subtool detail menu will pop up, aka the settings. We're going to start off at the top. Brush size. You can if you see right here, this has a lot of little features. If you leave it alone, it will always be a uniform size, just everywhere. Okay. If you want to have it taper off, you would just select pin pressure. And it's like a little pretty. It does the whole pressure sensitivity type thing. Whee. All right. Me, I don't like it to go straight to the maximum point, so I like mine at about starting at 25%. Now, you might find yourself clicking around on this thing right here, and you might do that. And you're like, oh God, how do I get it to go away? It won't go away. Easy. All you do is you click and drag it really fast. See? No matter how many little points you may make on here, all you have to do to get rid of them is just click, drag, click, drag, click, drag, and finally click, drag. Alright, there's also the tilt, velocity, and random. Random is basically if you want absolutely no control of any, just it's this. If you like this though, hey, this might work for you. So for those who might find themselves liking this, random, excuse me, interesting little effect, which actually might not be too bad for a 1 second. Okay, well, okay. I'm gonna worry about that later before I get distracted, because I do. We're just gonna take off random. We're gonna leave it on pin pressure for right now. Don't want to get too complicated. Okay. Ink opacity. I chose a watercolor brush because I like mine to be a bit more see-through-ish. But if you choose like a different brush, I'm assuming that it would not be that. Let's just find out. Instead of assume, let's find out. Gonna make another one. Gonna call it YouTube brush number 2. Create custom subtool. And let's do oil paint. Oil paint seems to be solid. So we're gonna take off that. Oh, I'll leave the background icon. We're gonna call it YouTube 2. And we're gonna hit enter. Alright, yay, it's up again. Okay, so we have learned something. No matter what the icon you give it, it's still that's not gonna affect the opacity. I'm guessing it's in another section, and we're gonna get there now. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to the first YouTube brush where it's like all nice and tapered, but it's just the beginning. Okay? So to mess around with the subtool settings, the little button is here, right next to what reminds me of aperture. But show subtool detail palette settings. It's a wrench. It's like Wreck-It Ralph. Just wrenches fix everything. Okay, so we're gonna click that, and we're back here again. Now, let's start with ink. Ink, you can just customize how you want. Okay, let's say start off with the blue. So firstly, I have blue. This is a little blue. Then you can mix the ground color, which is what I love. I like mine to kind of have this partial opacity, so I always have that checked on, which is about all my brushes. That way, it's like, let's see. Control Y, redo. Okay, so like this over here is that I'm just using it lightly right now, but this is mixed ground color. And over here is without mixed ground color. Again, I'm still doing it lightly, but I'm not sure if you can see, but over here it fades a lot nicer. So if I wanted to like pick up this middle color and do it, it would look like this. But if I did that over here and check mixed ground color again, it'll mix the ground color. I really like it for blending colors. It looks so pretty. Okay. Now over here you can just adjust the amount of paint. Amount of paint is basically how strong you want it to be. Like, well, okay, say you had like a palette, and whether you take a little bit of paint up with palette knife, or you take a lot. Literally amount of paint. That's all it is. Density of paint. How thick you're going to put it on. Say amount of paint. Low. Oh, wait, it's for mixing. There we go. That's high. And this is low. Okay? How much paint you're using to mix. So take that back up. I usually like mine at about 80 just because I accidentally found it. Density of paint. We're going to click that. Let's see. High. Let's do this reddish color again. It's high. And all the way down. Low. See? Look at that. Which also has a cool little water-like effect that I kind of like. I like it a lot even. It's cool. Okay, it'll pick up all the extra colors around. Okay? Now we're going to go back here. We're going to put density at about 75 because no apparent reason. Well, yeah, it's a 75. No reason. I just like 75. Okay, color stretch. Gonna just make this color here. Make this color. Let's see. Make this color here. Right there. There you go. All right, color stretch. Eureka. Okay. Let's see what happens. Alright, so I'm going to use the blue and I'm going to do that right there. It's the highest at 100. And then we're going to select green, see what it's like on the lower setting. Don't really see too much of a difference. Let's see if yeah, I honestly do not see that much of a difference right there. But I'm still just going to leave it to wherever it was. I'm going to leave it at 15 just for heck's sake. Okay. Intensity of blur is an option that opens up with, there are two options up here for how to mix ground color. Blend and running color. I don't use running color too much, but if you guys want, I can mess around with that at a later date and I'll let you know how that goes. Because there's also this intensity of blur, automatic or fixed value. And down here is mixing rate of drawing colors. Ooh, let's see what that does. Do that color, and then so okay, so that's that tool. Okay, I got it now. I was actually gonna poke around and find it later. Okay, so this down here, mixing rate of sub-drawing colors. All it is it's gonna be blue and white, and it's really, if it does what I think it's gonna do, it's gonna be really cool. So I'm going to do right on the side, and my sub color is going to be, let's do blue. I want to make this brighter just because I can. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so that's at like nothing. And then if I take it up, that's the sub tool. So I'm guessing if I have it in like the middle. Ooh. It's kind of nifty. That's really actually new. So if you were interested in using this, this is really cool. All you have to do is, of course, have the two colors you want to kind of mix between. And down here, it's really small on mine, but there's a property brush. Down here, anything over here, you can click something that has an eye. I'm going to click it right here, and the little eye is going to pop up. That means that eye there is going to show whatever setting that is over in this spot down here. So, see that mixing rate of sub-drawing colors? I'm going to make the eye clear, and it pops up right there. That way, instead of going into here, you can just start there and then, I guess, lessen it a little bit, and like that. And that's really kind of cool. I like clicking. Look at that. That's awesome. It is fantastic. Okay. Next up, on the little trip through the settings, there's anti-aliasing. Most of you, I'm assuming, will know what it is, but for those who don't, is anti-aliasing is basically how many of the little ridges you want. Now, most don't like it too much, but like the little pixels. But if you like pixeling, I would say have it on the first one. Default seems to be having it on this one. It's the middle one. I don't use it on the strong a whole lot. Never had a reason to really notice the difference, so I'm just going to leave it on the middle one. And if you ever have questions, if you're curious, they have little about sections for almost everything, and if it's not at the bottom right here, then you can just like hover and then something will pop up. Alright, brush shape. This is where if you really like the settings you've chosen for a brush, you can save it. So it's just register to preset. And then it's there. You can, if you want to use those settings on some other tool, like I guess a pen or an eraser, you would go under it, that tool's brush shape and then pick the one you just made. All right, brush tip. If I really like those colors, I don't want to get rid of them. I'm just making a new layer because those are pretty. Okay, so for brush tip, there's of course the plain circle, or if you want to go over here, you can pick material. So like if you want it to be like a texture brush or some kind of effect. If you do want to do that, you just click material and this little add brush tip shape right here. So we're going to click that and you can pick whatever is in your plethora of little brushes to pick from. Alright, so I'm just going to do this one. This is where you would go if you wanted to make like a stamp or something too. I don't even know what I want to do right now. I'm just going to do this one just because it's here. Yeah, sure, why not? It's a texture. Do that skin instead though. Alright, so we have that. And I really don't want to use that one, so let's use that. Tweak the green a bit. That's cool. I like that color. Alright, so yeah, like you see, that's basically just where we go for these. I'm gonna make this brush bigger so you can all can see this. Not big. And there are some brushes, depending on the complexity of the brush, the bigger it is, the more likely it is to lag, like this one's doing right here. And that's just, you can poke around and figure out what's causing it. But we're just going to put that back onto, again, going to open up the little wrench. And we're going to go to brush tip. And if you don't want that, you can click this little arrow thing to change it. Or you can just delete it and it's gone. And you can go back to circle. Which is still, I mean, right now it's at 500 though, so I'm not surprised that it's all half laggy. Well, kind of laggy. I think for my computer at least, my comfort zone as far as size before it starts lagging is about 250. Alright, so while we're here, I'm going to minimize this again to about 250. See, look, there we go. See, look. Oh. Okay. Hardness. Hard. Soft. In the middle. Pretty self-explanatory. Thickness. If you want it, it's just, you can do this kind of thingy this way. Or you can just have it like all the way up and this would be round. I'm going to take the hardness up a bit. And then for direction of applying, that's if you have like the thickness to where it's kind of like this oblong oval shape, it'll go either this way, you can do this way, or you can go this way. If you're interested in that, that's there. Okay, and thickness is also basically if you see anything at all with this little rectangle with the square on the inside, that means you can adjust more settings, like pen pressure, tilt, velocity, random. Random is essentially, if you're familiar with Photoshop, random is essentially the jitter effect. Like if which direction you just want to go everywhere. Just random right there. Okay, direction, again, just if you have an odd looking brush, that'll basically just see if this will work. So if it's this, let's see, it might not work since it's a round brush. Yeah, see, it works, okay. That's basically just adjusting the tilt of the brush. And again, you can set that to whatever you want in there. Brush density. Now, this is why it is kind of like see-through-ish right there. It's because the brush density I see is at 50%. If you want that to be solid, you just you move it up to 100. Now, it's still a little see-through-ish, and that is not only due to us having the pressure sensitivity on, whatever, but it's also, you see brush density right here, it's set at pin pressure. We take that off, it'll be more solid. If you want it all the way solid, just uncheck this adjust brush density by space. And then you just have a completely solid brush. So again, brush density, the density by pin pressure, does that. With the pin pressure off, it's moving this thing. With the second option unchecked, it's just this right here. Alright. Alright, and now that we poked around through there, I'm gonna use this one. That's too much. Oh, and you can change this. Right now it's at 60. The little arrow thingy over here lets you change the values. So I like 75 and 80. I'm gonna do 80 and see what that looks like. Okay, I'm gonna do this, make it up a little more. Okay, kind of like that. Like that. Well, almost like that. Let's see. What's kind of look like? Ooh, okay, there you go. I like that. I like 90. Okay. Spraying effects. I'll basically disperse the heck out of it. And you get little tiny bits. Now, this would be good for like a pour brush or dust or something like that. So I get carried away. Particle size, if you want to, again, if you want to, like, if you think you're going to be changing a lot, I would just check the little eye. That way it's in your side settings, so you don't have to open this up every single time. But particle size is basically just how big the little pieces are. So you see here, it's all like crumpled together. Here it's even bigger. You can't really see anything. And then small. Say I wanted to make like, that's kind of cool. And so you have a particle size set. The density is just if you want it kind of more space in between, go low. Higher is, of course, less space in between. And this kind of looks like the little germ testing as you see on commercials. Okay, so, and you can even, again, adjust that by pressure sensitivity. So I was going light versus dark. See, dark. Or something. Kind of all looks the same to me. But it might just be because of the brush. Alright, now, spray deviation is how concentrated you want it in the line. So, if you go all the way up to the top, you'll start to see that line in the middle. If you go to the bottom, it's thicker at the outskirts of it. So I like kind of like in between the middle. Let's see. Yeah, in between is nice. I'm gonna up the less intensity just because I like more space. Alright, direction of particle. Again, this is something that's nice if you're having, if you're making a custom brush that you want to use with this. This is just the direction. What direction is that brush shape going to go? So, now, little warning with most shapes, like if you use a custom tip, it will lag in the spraying effect settings. It will lag a lot easier than the normal ones would. So keep that in mind. But an example of one I used is here. If I can get this to go up, which it doesn't want, there we go. All right, let's see, that's that one. Here we go. This is an example I use. I use this one for the backgrounds of my trees. And this was based on a custom brush I made, so I want it, if you want it more spread out, all you have to do is change the size of the brush and it'll spread out more. If you want it a lot more focused, then make the brush smaller and it'll be crazy focused. This is what I use for background trees. It's a fun little brush. Yes. Okay. Moving on. We're going to go back down to the YouTube brush. We're going to take off spraying effect now. So we're back to the gigantic circle. Okay. Guess we can do purple. A little bit redder though. Okay, I like that. It's awesome what you can do in here though. You do so many things. There you go. Alright, so stroke is just how you want, like, it's talking about this stroke, like a stroke of the pen. That's all that stroke is talking about. Now, you can control the gap, like how much space is between the repeated shape. And if you want something more sparse, you can just do that. You just do that instant little dotty stamp thing going on. But yeah, that just, you can change this gap. It goes all the way up to 2000. Yeah, I get interesting easily. I'll probably edit that out too. Okay, so continuous spraying is basically just if you wanted to always just kind of touch and be all continuous. Now, in some of them, they'll have a ribbon setting. Ribbon is basically just if you want to do something like, let's see. Give me a second. Let's see. Where'd they go? Who's in here? Okay. Ribbon. This right here is a ribbon. How it repeats, but it just goes in a straight line. Used a lot with if you use a ruler for rulers or for a whole nother episode. Okay, so we're gonna go back to a circle. Okay. I'm just gonna leave it at somewhat dots because I like the dots. The dots are cool. I like circles. Okay, so in texture, if you want to apply some type of texture to the brush, it's similar to Paint Tool Side, how you have like the little texture, paper texture thingy on the right side. It's similar to that, only it just applies itself to the brush. So we'll pick this canvas one over here, and you can control the density. Make this bigger so you guys can see. See? It's like right there. You can have it low, barely in there, or you can have it all the way up. Alright, reverse density. I don't mess around with that one too much. I think that's just basically if you inverted the file, the texture image. Like so, instead of the brights being one way, okay, so that's reversed. and that's the regular, which is only a slight difference with this pattern. Then of course you can scale how large the texture is going to be. So this is all the way by 100, and this is let's do 50% ish, 51, whatever. It's 50, and you can move these anywhere you want to, And I'm going to do just 10. So that's basically just how small or how big you want the texture to be. All right, rotation angle, same as all the other rotation type things. It's just, do you want it going this way, this way, this way, this way? And method to apply texture. Okay, this is what I was thinking about earlier. If you want it to always act as a multiply, then you can just see how it's affecting the pattern. If you do normal, it just kind of does this thing. Multiply is doing this. And we'll pick the color. So see multiply, then normal. You could also do subtract, which I don't quite see too much. So we compare it looks like. Actually, let's see. Maybe it's because it's the same color. It's whatever. Let's compare, subtract the outline. Oh, that's an interesting little effect. It's like it's putting it behind it. That's interesting. Alrighty. And apply by each plot, like I said, let's see. This is basically, do you want the texture to be applied afterwards? After you like pick up your pen, I would assume. Let's see. So without it checked, let's move the texture up some. Let's see. Go back to normal. There we go. So that's the normal texture. Apply by each plot. We'll go like this. No, I don't see much of a difference there. But that's that. Okay. Watercolor. It's just kind of like in. Okay, I'm gonna have to get rid of this circle bit. Alrighty, gonna take this texture off. You can just hit the, if you want to like take the head off, just hit the little trash bin right there. Watercolor, so that's it and nothing. Watercolor. You can see that now. There's that little kind of halo on it. Now, if you want to just take it up, it goes up to 20 and it's a lot thicker. But again, as you see, it will lag the pen. The more higher the settings, the customer settings are, the more it's going to lag. So if you want to make your own, I would say just experiment and see how that goes. Alright, so that's at like 5. I'm going to do 3 just for the sake of it being a regular number. Alright, so that's at 3. Transparency effect. Okay, so this is at its lowest. You don't really see much. This is at its highest. See a bit more, but let's see if I change the color. It's there. Alright, so I'll just leave that at middle, see what happens when we do luminosity effect. There we go, that's what I was expecting. Alright, so luminosity effect is what's going to control the little border thingy. If you want it to process afterwards, like it looks normal right now, and then it processes afterwards. So kind of like how it is in the middle. Middle, when in doubt, kind of pick the middle. Alright, so if you, let's see, it's blurring with, I'm not going to worry about that. Well, I'll do it for you guys. If you do process after drag, it's that. And it's that. So blurring with pops up only if you check off process after drag. That's it at 0. This is it at 20. And just kind of, there's that faint border on the outside, on the outskirts of it. Which I kind of wish was a feature in normal state, because I like the blurring bit. Alrighty, we're almost to the end, people. Okay, so erase. Just basically if you want the tool to, just how you want the tool to erase. I'm going to click that border off. So if you want to erase, I set my shortcut to C for clear, but that's basically will erase what you're working on in that tool. So I'm going to pick this brush right here I made a little earlier today. And it's got those kind of cool, funky ridges that I like. If I hit clear, you'll see it'll change in here, and it will erase using the same settings as the brush's regular settings. Right there. This is just where you go to tweak it however you want to tweak it. But I don't really do it that much. And actually, I was wrong. The erase setting is just for when you're working in vector layer. Again, this is probably something I'll cover at a later date if you guys want me to. Alright, correction. Let's see here. C2 brush. Let's do square. Just because I missed my square brush. Alright, so make corner pointed. You see down here. Round corners, pointed corners. So, see what that does. I honestly don't see too much of a difference right there. Right, stabilization is same as inside, just how do you want, like, how much help do you need making your hand not shake or look like it's not shaking? See? And low. Alright. Adjust by speed. So I guess that's if going slow, there's not going to be anything. If so slow, there's none. Well, 2 circles. Slow circle, fast circle. Post correction is basically just it corrects afterwards. And there's some little sub settings down there. What's a, don't know what a Bezier curve is, so I'm going to click that and see what happens. Don't know exactly what that did. Brush stroke. See what this does. So it says it's lowest. It's highest. So I guess what I noticed is that the tips are different. It starts off about the same, but when it ends, this one gets more tapered off, and this one is just kind of like that. Which I like this tool set, so I'm gonna leave that there. Well, I don't know. I'll probably go back and forth with that. Well, like I said, when in doubt, go in the middle. Able to snap. Let's see here. No, let's see. No snap. Snap. Again, I don't see much of a. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Able to snap. So that's why it's good to hover sometimes. That's basically if I have a ruler, which I will pull out real quick so you guys can see. I'm gonna make a line here, line there. I'm gonna go back to my tool. If it's able to snap, you'll see it. Let's see. We'll follow that line. If you make it not able to snap, so no matter which way, once I start on this line right here, look at this. I'm going up and down and still just going to go straight. Unable to snap, if I try that again, it will just go everywhere. I mean, I'm going to leave it on off though. And again, there is a vector option as well. Starting and ending. And delete those rulers. To delete rulers, you just right click, and if there's a ruler, it'll give you the option to delete the ruler. Alright, so starting and ending. How does it start? You have all these options to choose from, which I've yet to go in and mess around with, but hey, they are there. How to specify. Specify by length, percentage, fade. Let's see. So we'll try off with length first. This is percentage and fade. Fade seems a bit laggy. I don't like that. So we put it back to length. Okay, starting and ending basically. Do you want to start a certain way and end a certain way? With them both unchecked. There's that. This is just this one. Actually, this one might be easier to see with the YouTube brush. So that's both checked right there. Endings off. Starting's off. There is something. I think there's something. I did something, I don't know. But yeah, there's that. I think I changed the subtool color or something. Okay. And of course, there's always the starting, ending by speed option. Which is essentially, I've noticed, it basically automatically tapers the end. That's all this starting and ending does. If you want it to taper at the beginning and the end, or just the start, or just the end, you can do that here. And anti-overflow. This is a nifty little tool. So I'm gonna use my pen tool real quick, and I'm gonna make some random curvy lines here. Alright, now go back to my paint tool and pick, let's do red or something, orange reddish color here. If you have anti-overflow checked off, the first box you can do is do not exceed line of reference layer. We're going to check that off and I'm going to show you what happens. This right here, the layer just with the lines on, we're going to check off this little lighthouse looking thing, and that's going to set it as reference layer. Below it, I'm going to make a new layer, and what this anti-overflow thing does is it keeps you inside. I mean, to an extent. If you go like, woo, you're going to go everywhere, but it keeps you inside the line. It's like, why worry about not coloring outside the lines when you don't have to? See, nice clean little cut. And I'm going to do another color over here, so y'all can see what it looks like when I move the line layer off. Do one more. Let's just do this. Let's do orange, just because. And I'm over here just so I can show all the different little sides and intersecting points. Alright, so and if I take that away, you see, it just ignored the line. It just kept it inside the line. Look at that. Cool little feature. Sometimes I use it for details. It, like during some line work comes to my work, if there's like a small detail, I would just do this and not have to worry about it, because it can get very frustrating sometimes. Alright, I'm going to uncheck that. Okay, go down here. Stop filling, again, vector, little section, color margin, you can control all that stuff in there. Alright, so we have finally made it to the end of this very, very long tutorial segment of Maker Studio. How do I even? If you guys have any other questions, I'll be happy to ask. Just leave a comment with a question if you want. And let me know if you guys want to see more of these and what you want them to be on. Hope you guys have an awesome day. See you later. Bye.